Hey there, gamer, DreamcastGuy here. Today we're talking about the next generation of consoles because there have been a lot of leaks on this channel. We've been talking a lot about the PlayStation 6, about how it's apparently going to be basically two separate systems, a home console and a portable dockable one, basically like a PlayStation 6 Nintendo Switch. But there's also talks that Xbox wants to, of course, do a hybrid console next generation. It's going to basically be like a PC with a lot of console exclusives. Well, if Xbox had exclusives. But today, there has been a major leak from Insider Gaming that apparently they're talking about dramatically delaying next gen. And honestly, people are thrilled about it. Let's talk. Hi, hope you're having a great day. And if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, this console generation's been very, very strange because it does feel like as much as people are enjoying it, as high as PlayStation 5 console sales have been, it does feel like it kind of just got started, you know? We've had so much cross-generation, so much of the biggest, craziest games like God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, the stuff that's the most photorealistic and crazy cool, that's been cross-gen games. They look pretty dang decent on your PlayStation 4. A lot of people are basically not excited about the PlayStation 6 because right out of the gate, we still have a lot of potential left in the PlayStation 5, right? It's still crazy. I think we don't even have Grand Theft Auto 6 yet, and that game looks like it's going to be insane, right? But it turns out the delay is not necessarily for a lack of hype. It's a lack of parts. But look at this. Delay away, 2030 at least, please, 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 PlayStation 6. So even this would be about, what would that be? That'd be a 10-year console generation. The PlayStation 6 obviously came out in 2020, or the PS5 came out in 2020. I think that there is a chance it may go even beyond that. People saying, yep, delay them, because if they release it with an inflated price, we know it won't go down when RAM returns to normal pricing and availability. Do we even need a next gen anyways? It's interesting that this is a question I see a lot. Good, good, good. Everybody's like, this is fantastic. No problem. We don't need a PlayStation 6 till 2035. And it does seem like a lot of this does come down to the fact that since there isn't really that crazy generational leap in graphics, PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 really hasn't been that significant. Or even the Xbox One to the Xbox Series X, there just hasn't been that like giant generational leap. The biggest advancement for this generation has been the solid state tech inside it. The fact that there's no longer load times. Everything's much more instantaneous. And so I think that games definitely run better, and that's cool. But we're still not seeing that game that seems, oh, this is impossible. This would never in a million years actually work on a PlayStation 4. So, I mean, think about the fact that my most played PlayStation 5 game is Diablo. I have over 700 hours playing Diablo 4 on my PlayStation 5. And you know what? That game runs just the same on a PlayStation 4. If you say, hey, now we're coming out with a PlayStation 6 patch, I'm not really going to care, right? But what's causing this is the AI RAM shortages. So worldwide right now, AI tech companies are not just buying RAM chips for their supercomputers and their data centers, they're buying all the RAM chips in the world. They're buying RAM chips that are not made yet. They're buying factories that make RAM chips. And what that's doing is that it's making it where this is an extreme bottleneck. We're at a point now where literally in just this year, we have seen RAM prices go up hundreds and hundreds of percent. Like we've actually seen a skyrocketing of prices like we've never seen before. And so essentially what they're doing is like, okay, we're at a point where if they release a PlayStation 6 in, let's say 2027, that was the original date being talked about, right? 2027, 2028, these systems would have to be $1,200 to even be remotely in the range of doable. Because typically what they do is they subsidize some part of it. You know, sometimes what they do is they go, oh, you know what we'll do is in order to be priced competitively, we'll pay for part of the cost out of pocket. If we're making a console that costs $550 to produce, we sell it for $500. So it's at a minor loss, but by getting it out there cheaper, we get more sales, we get more games, we get more hype, we get more attention. And so because of it, we make a lot more money on the back end. But if your console costs $1,200, even if you're subsidizing that by $100, that's still an $1,100 console, which, let's face it, is going to die instantly. There is no way in the world that would ever succeed. So apparently they're saying, look, man, we may have to do a giant delay. Their original talk was to have this from 2027, 2028 release date. They're basically like, we're just going to have to build out infrastructure and eyeball those price drops. That's just the only thing. So I'm in the space where I think delaying it to 2020, 2030, somewhere in there would actually be a good move. But I almost think that part of the reason is we need to find a way to get the entire industry to lower prices, not just for hardware. The fact that controllers are 80, 90, $100 now, the fact that every game they're trying to like basically jump the price up to $100. $100 games are going to happen, says ex-Call of Duty multiplayer creative director. You just don't want that first person to do it, but all the publishers are waiting. If $100 games happen, I'm going to double down on being patient. Wait for a deep sale type of gamer like you've never seen before. There has been, in just literally the last 16, 18 months, just literally the last year and a half, we have seen some of the biggest video game layoffs ever. Tons of studios being completely closed, mass firings. We have seen pay cuts. We've seen complete liquidations as sections of the industry. And I'm not going to say, I don't think that's because of bad games. I don't think that suddenly, oh man, gaming has just gotten 10 times worse. I do truly believe that a lot of that comes down to the fact that it's just that everything is so dang expensive. I saw this one tweet where someone said, look, man, I buy 5 games in the last year. I bought 5 games last year, 3 games this year. I can make it 1 if you want. And that's the thing, is that if we're really coming down to a part where people are literally fighting to be that one game you buy every year, and there's, 100 bangers that come out, that means 99 are going to fail and 1 succeeds. I mean, this to me feels like that big line in the sand where if everything is getting so dang expensive, a lot of games are just flat out going to flop. They have to, unfortunately, right? When I think about a game like Expedition 33, they said they made Expedition 33 for $10 million. $10 million. When's the last time you even saw a game that cost less than like $50 million to make? Even like a lot of indies cost more than $10 million to make. It's wild that Expedition 33 is such a masterpiece. Obviously, that's a diamond in the rough. That is an epic masterpiece of passion, of craft. I mean, the geniuses of our generation. But I feel like people are starting to say, okay, I'm not going to buy a $1,200 console with $100 games. It's just not freaking possible. That means we're going to see a lot more like crappy free-to-play live service slop. But I also saw this interesting thing where people over on Reddit, people are saying this next generation consoles being delayed is one of the only silver linings of the RAM shortage. Maybe they'll allow this generation to sculpt an identity for itself, rather be defined by cross-generation and live service. I like that comment a lot, but I wanted to also look at this one really long comment where essentially this guy was talking about the fact that the lifespan of the PlayStation 5 and the PS5 Pro, we really still have a lot of gas left in the tank. So some people may forget this now, but we actually had a very long console generation with the Xbox 360. With the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, that was during the 2008 global financial crisis. People were very, very broke back then. I mean, I was in my 20s, so I didn't notice it as much. I mean, everybody I was hanging out with and living with was just as broke as I was, so I couldn't tell we were more broke. But because of it, since those consoles had to exist for so long, the developers got better and better and better at optimization, of finding developer tricks, of making games look even crazier. If you look games at the beginning of the generation, at the end of the generation, it is truly, literally night and day difference. And I think it's interesting that essentially it sounds like people are like, man, maybe we could see more tech about the PSSR technology, more stuff to mess with frame rate, more of this stuff that's actually going to make modern games run at better 60 FPS and stuff like that. I'm definitely in the camp where, if anything, I would be fine if the PlayStation 5 is around for until at least 2030 at least. Give us another 5, 6, 7 years of this. When we start to feel that tech being old, maybe talk about replacing it. But at this point, I'd rather have a cheap PS5 that keeps getting discounts for years and years to come than a next-gen piece of tech with a price tag that is unachievably massive. Thank you so much for watching, gamers. How do you feel about the next generation of consoles? And tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. If you could, please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. I am terribly, terribly, terribly sick. If I'll be honest with you, I think I'm running a terrible fever. So I'm sorry if I sound a little bit loopy. It's because I am feeling a little bit loopy.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.